After bringing sand up the river, I went away to sea in British ships in the British Merchant Navy. I left home when I was 17. In October 17, I was 17 years old, and I went over to Cardiff and joined a big deep sea ship bound for New Zealand in Cardiff docks, and we went out through the Panama Canal with a cargo of different stuff for New Zealand and Australia. And it took us 5 weeks from Cardiff to Australia. The ship, she was built during the war, and the ships were very slow at the time. But anyway, we took a general cargo from England to New Zealand. And when we had discharged in New Zealand, we were in Wellington and Auckland. We were in 4 or 5 different ports in New Zealand. It was a lovely country at that time. That was 1954. And we went from there to light ship from there to Australia and loaded grain and cargo of grain back for New Zealand again. We were out there between New Zealand and Australia for a while, and the next cargo we loaded a cargo in Sydney, Australia for London, for home. And we come home through the Suez Canal. We went out through the Panama and home through the Suez, and we were away about 9 months. And we sailed around the world for that 9 months. We done 16,000 on the way out and 16,000 miles back. That was 34,000. Was it? 34?
32.
Sorry, 30. That was 32,000 we done for that trip. We sailed around the world. So I paid off in London, went down to Cardiff and stayed in Cardiff with my old landlady, old Mrs. Madigan. It was a boarding house, and I had a room there, and I stayed on it for a week. I didn't come home. I joined another ship, a ship called the Caledonian Monarch, a big deep sea ship, bound for Japan. Out through the Panama, we went to the States, Newport News, and loaded coal for Tokyo in Japan, out through the Panama and into the Pacific Ocean, and the next stop was Tokyo, the big mountain over called Fujiyama. Tokyo, we had part cargo at Tokyo, Yokohama, Osaka and Kobe, the 4 different ports in Australia, in New Zealand. When we were finished discharging our cargo in Japan, we went to light ship across the Pacific Ocean, across the way to Canada, New Westminster in Canada, and so the whole place was called British Columbia anyway. The state was called British Columbia, and we loaded timber there in 3 or 4 different ports: New Westminster, Port Alberni, Vancouver, and some other place I forget, and we loaded the cargo timber there for England. And we went from there then down the west coast of the States and into Los Angeles. And we filled our tanks in Los Angeles, or oil tanks for the engine. We left Los Angeles and come all the way down to Panama and home through the Panama again for Swansea in Wales with our cargo of timber. Out the cargo of timber, we were away about, I think, 9 months again. So I come home, then I was away a year and a half or so before I come home to see my mother. My father was dead, Lord have mercy on him. He died a couple of years before I went to sea. So I stayed home for a few weeks with my mother, and Jack was married, my brother. Jack was married to his wife Teresa, and they were very nice to me, so I stayed home for about 3 weeks, and I come away, and I went back in British ships again. I never sailed in any other ship, only British ships. And I stayed in British ships until 1968. But in the meantime, I had come home and I bought a house down in South Terrace from Jim O'Keefe in the Skull. and I went back to sea again after buying it for a year or two, and I come home in 69, I think, and I started working Woody in the tugboats. I got skipper of a tugboat called the Brandon Bay in Woody, working for Gulf Oil. There was 4 sister ships: the Brandon Bay, the Dingle Bay, the Tralee Bay, and Bantry Bay. 4 ships working for Gulf. They were all by Corey's of London. They were built for Gulf Oil in Bantry. So the next thing, I met my wife, Lord of Mercy, she's dead now, Mary Callahan. We got married and we had 2 children, Deirdre and Edward. And we lived there for a while. And the next thing, we got a site up here in Armagh Drive, number 4 Armagh Drive, and we built a bungalow here. And I was working in the tugboat still until 1980, until the place blew up. It had a bad collision, and there was a lot of lives lost there. There were 52 lives lost there. The same night, a ship called the Betelgeuse, she blew up there and went through fire. So we worked away, rescued everything there till it closed down. It closed down 1980. And after that, we were sent up to Foynes in the tugs to work for Shannon, in the Shannon in Foynes, County Limerick. And I stayed there till 1899, is it? Yeah, that's it. Would that be the turn of the century?
1999.
1899.
1999.
Sorry, 1999. We
Yeah.
stayed there 1999. And I paid off then and come home, and I paid off since. And the next thing, my poor wife got cancer and she died. This is 1917, and she died 8 years now. 1 and 8 years. And Edward is married, and they bought here in Skull. His wife is very nice, Miriam, and they have 2 children, Leah and they have 3 children, sorry. Leah, Amy Lou, and Katie, 3 girls. And Edward works inside in Skibbereen in the CT in the testing place. And there a few months ago they bought Barnett's clothes shop, drapery shop down here in the town, and they're doing fine. I'm still alive. I'm 82, living here on my own in number 4 Armagh Drive. But my old health is gone now, and I'm living away as long as I can. So that's the end of my story. Thank you. That's that.